The one who brought up agency was you. I brought up strength. Who's stronger? You said they're equal strength. If it's equal strength, then it's a fair fight.
Well, then let's test this logic back the other direction then. So are you saying that if a man who is weaker than another man hits a stronger man, the stronger man should just take it?
If the stronger man could off the younger man or weaker man by hurting him, I think he should walk away. Like, that's just the strong thing to do. Yeah, but
anytime two men fight, that could be the outcome.
What do you mean?
That anytime, like a man who, let's say, is, I don't know, a quarter less stronger than me, who comes over and punches me in the face, could still kill me. Like, that could still kill me.
Yeah.
Even though they're weaker than I am. But you're saying for some reason I'm not allowed at that point to defend myself, or somehow that's a lesser man? I don't get that.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. If the strength is equal, fine, do whatever you want. If it's similar, fine, do whatever you want.
Well, what does similar mean?
If it's a woman who can lift 200 pounds and a man that can lift 200 pounds and they both do boxing, sure, wrestle it out, who cares?
Do you realize that women can throw heavy objects at a man's head? They can grab dirks and daggers and pistols and all sorts of different things. They're not limited only to physical strength, but even then, that if a woman, perhaps she's wearing rings, but even then if she's not, that just a woman balling her fist and punching you in the face hurts, that actually hurts, it's not pleasant. Like, why is the expectation here that because it happens to be a woman balling their fist and punching you in the face, that somehow makes it not okay for the man to go, oh, okay, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't get that.
Okay, but
Hold on.
No, he finished.
No. I'm sorry. I need to let the rest of the panel in on this. Go ahead.
I feel like it's okay for a man to hit back if the woman hits first.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking her and
the other girl.
The other girl.
I think it's like using your common sense. So if a girl hits a guy, like he should be able to defend himself. I wouldn't necessarily say like punch her, but defend yourself just to stop the fight.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree that this question is really black and white, and in case the man really needs to defend himself, if it's some critical situation, of course he can hit back. Yeah.
We have a chat coming in.
Mandy Vower donated $200. What in the Amber Heard is this biatch talking about? No arguments, just wants to be difficult. Makes me want to shit in my hands and clap.
Well, I'm going to say the opposite. She was the only one tonight so far who made an argument to me, and for that I thank you.
Do you have a response really quick to the TTS?
No.
Okay. Your thoughts on this?
For one, you should keep your hands to yourself. For two, you should defend yourself always. And three, if a man and a woman get into it and the woman decides to put her hands on a man in an aggressive fashion, the man has a right to defend himself.
Sure.
And if he could walk away, and that's an option to walk away.
Sure. Okay. What about you? What about you? Or did you? You kind of gave your take, right? Or was that the girl next to you?
That was the girl next to me.
Okay, what's your take then?
I agree with her. If you already anticipated to put hands on someone, be ready to get the consequences pretty much.
Okay.
If I were to slap a man, I would expect that he would slap me back. So.
And I guess I'll give my take on this. And I actually, Andrew, quick convo with you here on this. So I think a man is perfectly within his rights if a woman has struck him. He's within his rights to strike her back. Although pragmatically speaking, and well, just before I get to the pragmatic part, I don't think a woman should be surprised if she gets hit back. If you don't want to get hit, don't hit somebody. Very simple. But I think pragmatically speaking, Andrew, I think there's actually men should try to show restraint in this situation, simply because there are certain ramifications and realities when it comes to the justice system where even if you have pretext and justification to strike somebody, there's potential criminal liability, there's potential civil liability, there's also optics. Even say you're a famous person and you're well within your rights to smack a woman back. Optically, society is not, there's enough people in society that they're going to view even self-defense towards a woman in some sort of objectionable way. But when it comes to the criminal component, there is a risk for men, even if you're doing self-defense. I forgot, there's a specific term for this, but when police come, and if there's a domestic dispute, doesn't matter who started it, they're just going to arrest the man. So for this reason, I think men should attempt to show restraint and try to walk away if they can, even if it's perfectly justifiable to strike back. Your thoughts on that, Andrew?
Yeah, so if you're just saying to me, Andrew, according to the current criminal justice system, it's not a good idea for a man to equalize force or use an overage of force to that which is used against him, I'll agree, right? Sure, under the criminal justice system, that's likely true. But that really doesn't get to the heart of the morality or the righteousness or the rightness of the argument.
Sure.
Right? So the question here is, are you incentivizing people to attack other people without consequence by giving them a kind of social leg up? In other words, saying, okay, because this is not socially acceptable, these people can essentially attack you with impunity. And I think that that's how you get this lopsided justice system to begin with, which then favors one sex over the other because of this idea of chivalry and modernity, which I don't really understand why it's there now. If you want an egalitarian society, chivalry and law is silly. That's just done. That's not egalitarianism. That's just creating a privileged class who can attack another class with impunity. And that seems very silly to me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, this would require like a...
Chivalry's dead because of conversations like these, no?
What do you mean?
Or like, can
chivalry
a man could kill me so much faster than I could kill him. So I understand what you're saying. It is not acceptable for anybody to be touching each other. I'm not. What was that one sentence that you just said? That I'm allowing myself to hit them, and so they.
Yeah, you're giving yourself a social privilege.
I'm not giving myself a social privilege because I just said that it's not okay for anyone to be hitting each other. But in the instance,
but if they are,
in the instance that they're hitting each other, can a man kill? Can you kill me faster than I could kill you?
Yeah, but I could do that with a weaker man.
But now our situation goes back to man or woman, not weaker man or
why?
stronger man. No.
Yeah,
Can a man kill a woman easier than a woman could kill a man?
Generally, yes.
Okay, I feel better.
Now, but just so you hang on. I need you to understand, though, that that's not a really good argument, and I'm going to tell you why it's not a good argument.
It's okay if you don't think so, but I'm pretty sure I have other people that would agree with me.
Okay, but that's an argument ad populum. Doesn't matter if the whole world agreed with you, it wouldn't make it a good argument. I'm going to tell you why. It doesn't make it a good argument because all I would have to say back to you is, okay, right, but there's other men who are weaker than me, my same age bracket, this and that.
Wow.
And they can still hurt me or kill me, even though they are weaker than myself, right? And nobody would say that I shouldn't be able to deter with an overage of defense, meaning if somebody attacks me, they punch me across the face.
You're putting it all together. You can't differentiate.
Hold on. You got to let him finish.
And I respond by hitting them so hard I break their jaw. I haven't done anything wrong. That's completely socially acceptable. People are like, well, you shouldn't have hit that guy in the face. You would have got your jaw broke, right? But for some odd reason, you seem to think that simply because it's a woman doing it, instead of a weaker man, that somehow they have some additional privilege to that because
I never said
because generally women are weaker than men.
I never said that.
That doesn't make any sense.
I never said that. I never said that we're privileged to hit men. I said it shouldn't be done in the first place. But if it was to happen, you keep on bringing it together, and I don't know why. You have to differentiate male and female. It's not about weaker men or men. It's not about that. It's about a male and like a female.
Yeah, I'm trying to show you an entailment. I'm trying to show you something. Like, for instance, here, let's do it a different way so I can show it to you this way. If a woman who is in your age bracket was 30% weaker than you are, and she punched you in the face, would you punch her back?
If she hurt me enough for me to get pissed off about it, because she's a woman and my age, she's getting punched back in the face.
Okay, well then, do you tell me what the distinction is?
What did you prove?
If you hang on. If a man who you're associated with in some way, if you're 30% weaker than him and you punch him in the face, why is it now unacceptable for him to punch you? That's my whole point.
If I'm punching a man in the face, if a man punches me in the face, my jaw is broken. If I punch a man in the face, it will be like a slap, maybe.
You could break his
but
nose.
Oh,
But
wow.
if the woman is 30% weaker than you, the same result could happen. That's the point.
No.
Yes. Yes, it could.
Men and men and women and women to women. I could fight a girl. Now she's on my playing field. I can't fight a man.
Then
Yeah, I know, but
That's it.
but
Yeah, you know that then.
I don't understand why you're not getting this. Like I'm trying to make it really like super over the top easy here.
Yeah,
yes,
it's easy.
I agree with you in general that women are going to get the short end of the stick on average if they're fighting fist fighting with men. It seems very silly. Obviously, for the most part, men are going to win those engagements. But if you say then it's because of that it's somehow not okay for men to hit women back.
Men could do
then
better than
I don't
this.
know why you wouldn't. Hang on, I'm almost done. Then you can respond. I don't know why you wouldn't apply the same logic to if a weak woman attacked you. It's the same logic.
No, it's not.
Why? How is it
A
not?
weak woman compared to whatever you just said is not the same. Or you know what? You're right. People could think like you, but you would be on the weaker side of a man because a real man wouldn't be saying what you're saying.
A weaker person too. You
They
just
wouldn't be
said it.
saying that. It's okay to hit a girl when
just
you
said
know
if a
that you
weaker woman
could break my
punched you,
jaw.
you
That's
would
not
punch
okay.
her. I don't know why. I don't.
You don't know
understand
why.
So why
I
do
don't know
you
why
get
you
to
don't know why
punch her?
either. It's pretty simple to me.
Well, why do you get to punch somebody weaker than you, but I'm not allowed to punch somebody weaker than me?
Wow. Well, you know what? You're a man. I'm not a man. I don't know. We have different things going on.
So it's okay so you say it's not a social privilege, but you're allowed to punch someone weaker than you. I'm just not allowed to punch
Who am I
someone
punching
weaker
weaker
than
than
me?
me?
You see what I'm saying?
Who am I?
That sounds like a social privilege.
Who am I punching
The weaker
weaker
woman.
than me?
The weaker woman.
But we're still a woman. We're still in the same category.
So?
Okay, until you guys differentiate male and
Okay,
female,
well
we
then
can't
let's try
have
it.
this
Okay, well,
discussion.
let's try it one more way. Just one more way. Very simple.
Yeah,
if
this
a
is really
man
simple.
was 50%, if a man was 50% weaker than you, a man.
I'm not
and he
fighting a
punched
man.
you and he attacked you.
Not
and
fighting a
he punched
man.
you as hard as he could in the face. Would you punch him back?
This is different because even if I was to punch him back, a
Why
weak
is it
man.
different?
Because
Now
a
it's the
girl
same
is
scenario.
physiologically weaker than a male. We went
But he's weaker.
over
Andrew,
this, right?
he's weaker, right?
He's weaker.
Yes. So, okay.
He's
just
weaker.
listen to my question.
Is he
Hang
my
on, listen to
age?
Here, just listen.
Don't
Listen
think
again.
about how
Listen
you're going
again.
to respond. Just listen to the actual question. A man. Let's assume a man is 50% weaker than you. Same age. He's in your same social group. He's just 50% weaker than you, and he physically attacks you, and he punches you as hard as he can, and he's continuing to hit you. Would you hit him back?
As a nurse, if a man is my age and I'm 50% stronger than that man, it's probably because he's critically ill. Okay, or something like that.
just
He's
answer-
sick.
answer
He's
the
sick.
question, answer the
No,
question.
we have to go through. We have to go through things like this because you want to talk about hypotheticals, right? If a guy my age is 50% weaker than me, it's because he's sick. So if a sick patient comes to me
Fine,
and
he's
tries to hit me,
20% weaker than you.
my answer is no. I won't hit back.
If
No.
he's 20%
So as a
weaker
woman,
than
if I could say that, and as a man, you can't say that. I don't know what's
Yeah.
up.
So what if he's 20% weaker than you?
Sorry, it's okay. Sorry, I don't know.
Can I say something?
But what if he's 20%
Okay,
weaker?
so,
Can you just answer
like-
that real quick?
I'll get you in just a
What
sec.
if he's 20% weaker?
20% weaker.
Which would be what?
20%.
What is that to you? 20% weaker than me as a male? Because
I don't know. Like, let's say that you can lift a
Well, give
fucking
me an
40-pound
example. Talk
box.
about
Hang on.
hypotheticals.
I'm going to tell you. Let's say you can lift a 40-pound box, and he can only lift like a 30-pound box.
Equivalent. That's not.
Yeah.
And he's hitting you in the face
I don't know what
as
point you're
hard
trying
as
to
he
make. I think I
can.
made mine. But what
That you could defend
Okay, so
yourself
like
or not.
a year ago, I hit my man. I made his nose bleed.
Did he hit you?
He hit me back and gave me a concussion. Do you feel like who's in the wrong? Do you feel like he should have hit
I'm
me
so
back?
sorry.
Wait, you broke
No,
his
girl.
nose?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that you went through that. I'm so sorry that you went through that.
Wait,
it's not okay
you're-
for
No,
you
it's
guys.
wait,
to
okay.
I'm so
But
sorry.
I'm
Wait,
just
wait,
saying,
wait,
do
wait.
you feel like
Somebody
it's
got your
okay
ass
for him
kicked.
to
I'm
hit
sorry
me
about
back?
that.
Is what I'm saying.
What happened?
No, it's okay. I don't.
What did you say?
Wait, you're sorry.
I'm just
what do you
saying,
mean?
like,
You're
I-
sorry.
I-
About
hit
that
him
whole
so
situation.
hard
Domestic
that I broke
violence is
his
a really
nose.
big thing. Domestic violence. It's
Who's the
something to play
victim?
with.
Who's the victim?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Was
who's
she
the
the victim?
The guy.
What did you
What
do?
I'm
What did you?
saying.
What did
She
you
hit
do?
him.
What did you?
So I hit
What did
him
you
first,
do?
and I broke
Why
his
did you?
nose.
Why did you hit him first?
Because
That
he
sounds
was
like
playing
victim
with me.
blaming.
Why was he playing with you?
He was playing.
That's just
Why?
victim blaming.
It's not okay for her to be
Victim
hitting
blaming.
somebody. It's not okay
That's
for her to
what
hit
I'm saying.
somebody.
So that's
It's
what
not,
I'm
I'm not
saying.
saying
So
that
he hit me
either.
back. So
But
I'm saying, like, who's in the wrong?
were you hospitalized with a concussion?
That's not the point.
Wait,
It-
did,
but
did,
it's
did
like-
this
It is
I
a
actually,
broke
point.
his
She can't.
nose.
She can't
wait,
hospitalize.
did this
him.
actually happen?
No, this actually happened. Yeah.
Okay.
She made his nose bleed.
No, she broke.
I
No.
broke hers.
She broke his nose. not just a nosebleed.
She said
broke his nose. No, she said broke.
I broke his nose, and then he hit me back because so like.
Was it justified?
No, absolutely not justified.
No. For him to hit her back.
For him to hit me back.
For him to hit you back, was that justified? A man should never hit a woman. This is why.
He was like 20 times.
They're gonna give you a concussion. Wow. You guys want to end up in jail? Because whatever you guys are laughing about right now, ha 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 ha, how you're acting, you're gonna end up in jail, right? The first person who comes to you, domestic violence wise, you know what I'm saying?
Would have been the domestic.
In my situation, I'm
Wait,
ready
what did
you and you?
Hold on. Wait. Okay, let me ask you a question. Did the police come?
No, I didn't call the police.
Okay, so you guys
It was just like between us.
So he punched you in the face.
No, I punched him in the face first.
Well, yeah.
And then he hit me in the back of my head, and I got a concussion. So I'm saying.
And he just struck you once.
Yeah.
And then he
How old are
left.
21.
You're 21.
Or did you guys kick it after while you were all concussed, and his nose was bleeding?
Because well, think about this.
Bonding experience.
This is the perfect example of the social privilege that I'm talking about that you're claiming you don't advocate for. She
My
said,
social privilege is to be here.
Hey, stop. Hey, stop. Let him talk.
I haven't even stated the position yet. But this is a perfect example of the social privilege. You're actually stating if she went over and broke this guy's nose, that he should just have to walk away with a broken nose. Like that's your actual.
He could have called the cops on her.
And you're like, but that's not privilege, Andrew. He
could have called the cops on her, and she instead of her getting concussed, she could have been locked up.
Yeah, what are the cops going to do if she doesn't want to go to jail?
That's the better scenario for everybody.
What are the cops going to do if she doesn't want to go to jail?
If she doesn't want to go to jail, what are the cops going to do?
Yeah.
I'm in the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, no, answer my question. What are the cops going to do?
Wait, they're
going to hurt her.
I have a question for you. Let's like rewind here really quick.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, had he not struck you back and you had just clocked him, broken nose, whatever, and he called the cops, would you have lied to the cops about the nature of the dispute?
100%.
Like, what, so would you have said like, oh, he hit me first, or something like that? Would you have lied to the police?
Honestly, wouldn't have called the police.
No, he called the police.
Oh, if he called the police, he wouldn't
doesn't
have called the police.
So he doesn't hit you back. He's got their broken nose. He calls the police. He does what she thinks he
That's
should
the
have done.
responsible
Hold on.
thing to do.
Yeah, sure. So would you have lied to the police though?
That's a hard question.
She's 21, this girl.
How's that relevant?
Correct scenario,
How's that relevant?
how things should be going down.
How's
if
that
you
relevant?
hit somebody, a man should lead, right? A man should lead. A man who's weak
Bro, you
or
can't
strong,
lead somebody who's breaking
You could
your
lead
nose.
yourself to the phone. You could lead yourself to the phone, call 911, and get her locked up.
What? You can also lead your fist to her mouth, and then she'll never break your nose.
And that leads you in jail.
Actually,
That's not funny for you to be laughing about it. I could also put my foot in her. What? It's crazy that we're having conversations
What's
like this.
What's actually crazy though
on
is
the media.
That
That's
even
crazy.
if a guy does
That's
exactly what
insane.
you said, even if a guy does exactly what you said,
they should be doing that.
Can you be quiet, please? Even if a guy does exactly what you said, the woman can just lie and be like, "Oh, he hit me."
Yeah, I actually had something to say about
even
that.
if he doesn't hit her at all. And he could still get arrested. So he could still get arrested in this scenario. That's okay. Well, I mean, this happens all the time.
Right. So
what were you saying?
Where the man's the victim.
You spoke on that earlier, and I actually had a comment.
What you got?
There is a stigma behind domestic violence where you say the majority of the men get arrested, and sometimes they're not the cause of the domestic dispute. But
that's called the Duluth model.
Right, but I didn't want it to deter people in this scenario, like men, from calling the police, because sometimes you have police that do their due diligence to find out who is the aggressor.
Yeah, I feel like
if a man is calling the police,
you don't know.
Yes,
you don't know
but
how that's gonna go.
I actually do, because I have a really close friend that actually dealt with domestic abuse, and just like police, they go on the scene, they speak to both parties to figure out who the aggressor is. They'll check your hands to see if you've hit something.
Sure.
They'll check your body to see if you have bruises, and then obviously my friend had bruises on her arms, and that kind of showed him even holding a woman back.
It's not a guarantee that the guy's going to get arrested,
it's
but
not.
it is a risk that men have to think about that women don't.
For sure, but if she were to hit, how she did her boyfriend and his nose broke, and he called the police immediately. If once they pulled up on the scene and seen that his nose is broken and she's looking gorgeous as ever, they're gonna see that she was the aggressor, and
Maybe.
the
Perhaps.
law is gonna take
Maybe.
and do what they're
Maybe.
supposed to do.
So this is what you're talking about is based on the state you're in too. So some
Right.
states are, if there's a DV call, someone's going to jail no matter what, right?
Right.
They actually have additional laws which say if we show up for a DV call, someone's going to jail regardless, right? It doesn't even matter. Someone's going right to jail.
Yep.
So the biggest problem with the current DV laws, how they stand, is like things like assault and battery and things like that, they're already illegal. You don't actually have to create additional DV laws for these things because they're already crimes. So what happened with the additional DV laws is they said, well, women need additional protections from big, strong men, right? That's the idea here. But what has happened as a side effect of that is then police show up and the man ends up going to jail, even if he didn't do the DV. And we know this because in the states where they don't have this Duluth model, they take women to jail for DV more than they do men. And so the additional DV laws are actually kind of unjust in this way.
It's called a restraining order. If anyone, especially under like the age of 25, getting domestic violence and stuff like that, restraining order.
Just one sec. I do have 2 chats coming through. Woman in chair 6 makes no sense whatsoever. She's the queen of double standards in this panel. Andrew, how do you argue and debate without losing your shit? And then,
Well, I think I like having these.
I just
Well, to answer to the chat, I like having these conversations with people. I understand that sometimes I say things that seem wildly offensive, but I don't really think they are. I think I'm just kind of logically deducing what a person thinks and why they think it and telling them why I think it. Other people get offended quite often, but they really shouldn't. Like Chair 1 was making good arguments. Chair 1 was like, well, wait a second, Andrew, let's test your logic on this. What happens in a scenario where blah, blah, blah happens? I'm like, that's a good argument to engage with. Now we can get to the bottom of each other's worldview. So you don't have to shut down during the argument and just be like, well, I never, clutch your pearls and go, how could he say so? It's like we're just trying to figure out what is and isn't true. And if we're discussing these topics, I think that's fine to do.
we have 3 more chats coming through. We have a TTS here from Foreign Gaming.
Foreign Gaming 718 donated $200.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Is not age or strength. Just keep your damn hands to yourself. Why would the weaker person just get away with it? A 16-year-old has a gun, can he shoot Brian and Brian not shoot back 'cause he's stronger?
Right, of course. Well, of course not. Well, this would be, again, this comes back to the idea of having to, so when me and Chair 1 were arguing back and forth, I was making this argument back, right? So you'd have to graduate the level even compared to agency. So like, if this would be the same thing with an orangutan. Let's say an orangutan picked up an AK-47. It doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't have agency, but it'll instantly create a justification for you to take down the orangutan because it could shoot you with this AK-47, and it's like you don't want to. It doesn't have agency. It doesn't know what it's doing. It doesn't mean to. That really doesn't mean anything ultimately, though, because it still is holding an AK-47, right?
We have 2 more chats here. We have Jeff Bader. Andrew, never once in this entire exchange did he explicitly say that the man should hit a woman.
Never did. Not even once.
All right.
I'm just testing the logic of why it would not be appropriate to do so if somebody was who's just if the argument is just, well, they're weaker, so they should they should just be allowed to hit you. That seems like it's creating a social order in society where some people have privilege over other people.
We have Lucas here. Hey, Lucas, good to see you in the chat, man. Holy shit, this woman is the apogee of female narcissism and entitlement, and noticed she used the classic feminist trope, a real man. You have no credibility to define a real man.
I do have credibility to find for a real man. My dad's one. What do you mean? I've had great examples of real men, and the real men around me wouldn't be saying things the way that you say.
So you're saying Andrew's not a real man?
Are you saying hypothetically speak? What's your definition of a real man? A real man, I'm not talking about a robot. I'm talking about morality.
You're the one who said real man.
Somebody being real. Somebody being real. I'm from New York.
Real?
We say
Wouldn't
yeah, you're very
slapping
real.
somebody be keeping it real?
Yeah, I'm keeping it real right
keeping
now.
it real.
Exactly, I'm keeping it real. A real man keeps it real.
Yeah, slapping somebody back. She slaps you, you slap her back.
Sure.
Keeping it real.
Keeping it real is with
Keeping it real.
it's a morality thing. Whatever you guys are saying ain't
When
it.
keeping it real goes wrong.
It's not it.
Well, like for instance,
It's not it.
I agree with you that there has to be some nuance here. Let me give you some examples.
It's not
Some
okay for anyone to hit
examples.
anybody. I know you
Yeah.
didn't say that, and I didn't say that. That wasn't my point.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Okay, well, I can give you some examples of where I think, that of course men grant nuances for this all the time for this social privilege, and probably we should. So here's a good example of this. My wife has had a terrible dream before, like just a horrible dream, and woke up kind of disoriented, right, and upset, and has struck me. It has happened, right? Now, it's like a strike to the arm, and I kind of laugh about it. I kind of giggle about it, right, because it's just silly. And she'd had some kind of like a bad dream that I was out cheating on her or something like that, because women have insane dreams like that all the time. That's how it works. So the thing is like, am I just going to be like, I just turn around and just whoop the shit? No, of course not. Of course not. That would be silly, right? But there's a difference there in intent. There's a difference there in intent. And if you're talking about intent, you're talking about intent to hurt. If a woman balls her fist and is punching you in the face hard as she can, there's an intent there to hurt you. And for some reason, I don't want to create a social class where that they have impunity from that on the spot, where the stronger person, because they're victims and are stronger, just have to be victims. That's insane to me. Makes no sense.